ran a Medify Mock 7 for VR. So I read it fully, so I'll try. I aim for around 40 on this. Okay, nice. It's controversial to political and religious authorities, so it was two aspects contradicted. So it's Renaissance as well. Worshipping religions. So uh it says it was a movement of solar systems. So the political religion saga would be, it says societal beliefs, Christian contradicted religious scripture. Following which one is most likely to agree with. Scientific religions, it says, no, that's true. It says it led to other profound differences in the number of seemingly so it emerged with a lot of different values as well. A heliocentric view of the. So it says heliocentric. Sun rather than the earth, Christian authorities and church. So to the existing understanding because it contradicted the religious scripture. Question by George because he basically promotion of this, which is his model of whatever the stars was in the sun of the solar system, which went to contradict the Christian values. So he gave a credence to a model that opposes Christian belief. Would be considered letters. So this is here. This large surface and name and spread across with many architectures. So here. So these three different forms, symbol tag, here, and a short masterpiece refers to a large, complicated, and often extremely difficult to undertake. So difficult graph made of decorated block letters. That's fine. After an example, they were all scratched and it wasn't really preserved. So unless it was preserved, it wasn't possible. So it's short-lived and not preserved. Which of these assertions is best? Said here centered around urban distribution tagging, but it generally arose in the 1960s and began to tag. So these were very culturally important. So it's around 60s. It began in the 60s. Arose during the 60s. Because they cornbread is significant is because we initially tagged. So one of them is Koreans. Okay, add some com. Depending on the com. And lost 30 seconds. It should be okay. This is so contract regarding established via contract, cost falls to whoever agreed to be the liability. It's established beforehand. Nope. It's established beforehand and caused force, so yes, it is agreed to be liable. It's not enough to determine who has liability for the accident. It says here, this test revolves around the duty, breach, and harm. So there's 4 different things that are assessed. That isn't just the harm and cause. So there's multiple different. Conclusion about liability of the company. That's true. It says here, a business owner can establish liability, so they are not fully liable for the fortunes. So if it fails, they're not necessarily always involved. Liability represents different. Uh, it has specific meanings as well, like here, for example. So I wouldn't say that specific meaning, and it's nope. A pre-existing agreement regarding liability frequently fails to adequately assess the scale of damage. That is true, I think. It says here there are sense a traffic in which party would not be able to draft an agreement of liability beforehand. So this is true from the first sentence. Mm, sort of internal memory. So centuries later, most Manchu gums have stopped visiting some of this area by memory and learning. Um, touching them. So a touching a plant that responds to this will be lower. So its name is less likely to make sense, which is true. Uh, there's been surrounding research. It says here. Uh, so it is said as memory and here. So it says botanists dislike terms such as memory and learning being applied to plants because it has attributed with consciousness. Mm, I remember reading this. It said somewhere they had to assume they had run out of energy. So I think it's incorrectly assumed. It said recent experiment involving detailed. So it's here. The rod, one such investigation carried out repeatedly, dropping the plant down a steel rod into a cushion. So it had other stimuli. Yeah, so it had some sort of irritation onto it. So it had other stimuli. It didn't have this because it was soft surface, which is cushion, and then short distance in order to not damage, and something to ensure it drops vertically, which is uh, yeah. So it says is to test, but we don't know if there's any other stimuli. Okay, I'm going to speed up a bit to catch up on time. Uh, that's false. Audiences are always quite respectful. They brought their own flair. So, uh, yeah, this is false. Siddons became an instant success. We don't know about instant. We know they were successful, like heavily respected through their career, but we don't know if it was immediately successful. I think we can't tell. During her last play, Siddons appeared both in and out of character. Was hissed on Drury Lancaster's stage on the next performance. Retiring from the stage was an opera who was appeared out of costume. Yeah, so she was in costume and then out of costume after. So that's considered to be highly paid, contribute to act was callous and greedy. His we know she's his she wasn't favorable, but she's money hungry, accused of, but we don't know if it was callous. So I'd say not. Talking about imaging, which have either using the camera or scanning, uh, which has radiation danger. So sometimes it was only mirrored to pick up small details. So that's false. Yeah, so it was unsafe because some of these was uh, undeveloped features, and here's maneuvering abilities. So I'd say this, and then radiation as well. An ultrasound. This is here, I think. Yeah, his method failed but dangerous to the rendering them invisible. So they work better on harder tissue and softer tissue because they render them invisible. So I'd say that's fine. Also able to conduct due to its unique connection with childbirth doctors. Like, uh, that's true. There's some constructive fibers. That's true. Uh, According to the thing, ultrasounds are useful for what because they uh, it says use high ultrasound waves. They use high ultrasound waves. Uh, Constructed language have been made artificially by an individual group or this is relying on varying densities with the womb. So oh, can't tell. I think Esperanto echoes international auxiliary. No one's mother tongue, but one could instead be picked up as a second language. So I'd say that's true. Because of its status as a constructed language, Esperanto cannot be learned as a first language, which could instead be as a second language. But they can't tell. If only if it was a fiction language I used in such a song or film in which fans would be unable to translate them. Uh, we don't know about the ability of the fans, though, so I'd say this can't tell. Okay. I think so. Okay. It said these two different, so it says two different techniques here. 90 right angle is separate to hold it in place, which combination of interlocking and pegs to create joint places of wood. So it's similar, but it says 2 at 9 right angles. So, but it uses separate peg joints. so it's different elements. Um, Japan developed highly joinery techniques. Uh, I think in the medieval era, Japan was there were Japan with show difference such as brackets. So I'd say that's fine. Between joinery and joinery, it says carpentry is yeah. So there's a lot of joinery carpentry. The larger and then whereas the former were joined together. So it's connecting pieces of wood. Connecting pieces of wood, carpentry involving wood. Not supported in skilled joinery. That's true. And will continue to be used by modern woodworkers. That is true as well. Without the use of modern adhesives, that's true. Um, I didn't see that, so I'm gonna put that. Cacao beans can be contaminated by lead if grown downstream, even with harvesting. Dark chocolate is considered. It says here what determines it whether soil, dirt, or dust. So, as more fruit is utilized, uh, more cost effective. Market overhaul predict how the move would be convenient for cacao farmers through marketing. I'll be done about consumers, I think. Seeing a job at Pepper Sweet, this here, which involves exploiting the inner sorry and the pulp to create a gel that will replace the refined sugars which is loaded. So the cacao pod shell isn't used in this process. The cacao pod isn't used, so this is false. Um, those who are younger are more resistant to the damage caused by free radicals. That I think it says here, increasingly struggle to combat as we age. So those younger are more resilient, since it says it's increasingly struggled as we age. Okay. Uh, so according to the passage, CSS contribute to web designers by it says here, along with font as the CSS update, web began to use the language to control aspects of layout and how web pages format. So it's adapted between different things, I think. Uh, CSS manages content as presented. That is true. I think I did read that somewhere. This is here. I'll deal with the content of the web page, and CSS will deal with the presentation of the content. So, on assertions. It will be 2 years before it was approved and began widely adopted. So this statement is true. I don't know about this. Say is pretty well. Since it says 2 years after 1994 to 1996. Would not be considered an example. So data contained, that's true. Title found at the heading, that's true. That's true. Spacing of margins, we don't know. We only know the control aspects of the layout. So how the layout is, we don't know about the margins. Mhm. After psychology appropriated this concept of it was no longer used in political discourse. Uh, Notion was used to the reference of a certain country's independence, but we don't know if it's used now or not, so can't tell. Self-determined provides that intrinsic motive provides an individual with the highest satisfaction. It says here in human behavior to intrinsic drives people with external awards and intrinsic inner drive that includes our values and interests. So provides an individual with the highest satisfaction, which is false. So it's based on our morals sometimes. All types of motivation must align with one's sense of purpose. That's false. They can be other things. There's two types. Self-determination argues that all people feel they are masters of their own life. Control over one life is a crucial factor. So that's true. They are to control the course of one's own life. What is more? I'm sorry for whoever's account this one is. I think this is yeah. This is Fastbix. I think he's asleep. I think his exams in 2 days. Wish him luck. Did I get it wrong? Not be learned as a first language. No one's mother tongue, but one could pick. Wait, what? Oh, I see. Not 16 questions with 9 minutes left. My VR was very